would not you make it by Friday? But suppose I told you how you can become a millionaire with what you have.
I got my daughter who's a senior at Michigan State counting on me, and she don't know what a loan is. She don't know what FAFSA is. I got my mama who retired counting on me.
There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information,
you continue to fight on no matter the circumstances. Tired as you are as many mistakes as you, may you do make a difference there is. Something they would lose if you were not there. There was something that they would miss if you were not there. You do make a difference. We all have things that we're believing for, dreams that we want to accomplish, problems we're hoping will turn around. Maybe it's to see our family restored, to lose some weight, to break an addiction, to start our own business.
Because here's the deal. All of you have everything it takes to become rich. You just don't believe it. Now, if you can develop this theory that I'm about to share with you, I have the way for you to be rich. This is it. First of all of you have a gift. God gave it to you when he created you. God never created a single soul without giving them a gift. That's the God that created you. He's a very smart God. Here's the cold thing. When he made you, he put the gift inside of you. He didn't hide it under the ocean. It ain't on the mountain nowhere. It ain't under no rocks. You ain't got to go drilling. God put what you needed inside of you at birth. All of you have a gift.
That's where they go in relationship. That's why they start to tear it down. That's why the relationship starts to break down, because people get scared when it isn't working out, and then they make it worse than it is so they don't have to try. Because they don't want to try again and be disappointed. They don't want to feel that sense of rejection. They don't want to feel that sense of failure. So most people make it much worse than it is. People tell me all the time, oh, I'm skeptical or I'm pessimistic. I said, no, you're gutless. It takes no guts. It takes no courage to be a pessimist, to say it's not going to work, to try to find out what's wrong. What's wrong is always available. So is what's right. So I'm not into positive thinking, but I am into intelligence. And intelligence says, see it as it is. Don't make it worse than it is. You must immediately clarify what has to be changed. Whenever you have what you used to call a negative emotion, you're now going to call an action signal. You know that that action signal is signaling you need to change one of two things. Either your perception or your procedure.
But you have got to do your gift. The thing God gave you at birth to do. It is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your gift. Anything else you doing, you wasting your time. Do you hear me? You wasting your time. If when the alarm clock goes off in the morning and it makes you sick every morning that alarm go off, it's because you ain't doing your gift. You're going against what God created you to be. Do most of you know what your gift is? Who in here doesn't know their gift yet? Okay, let me tell you what you do. Go home today. Don't talk to nobody. Sit down and have one conversation with yourself. What is the thing that I do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? This ain't gonna take you long. You old enough, you grown. Write it down. I don't care if it's networking.
Now let me clarify what I mean by that. Your perception might be, for example, that, gosh, you feel hurt. You feel like your husband doesn't love you so much anymore, or your wife doesn't love you so much anymore because, gosh, when you first met, boy, all you had to do was, look at them and they dropped their newspaper and came over and hugged you. Now they don't. You have a sense of loss and that hurts you inside. And that hurt is a lot more painful than the feelings of just being uncomfortable. The point, though, is this. Is this an appropriate emotion for you to feel based on this situation and this time with this person? That's really the question we want to ask ourselves whenever we have an emotion. We know that we have that signal. We need to first identify it, and then secondly, immediately appreciate this signal is offering us a message, and the message is we need to change. Again, our perception or our procedure. So our perception might be, person doesn't love me. Do we need to change our perception? Do we have some rules that are inappropriate in this situation? And the answer here probably is yes. Wouldn't you agree? This person is just wrapped up in what they're doing because they're just immersed. It doesn't mean they love you any less.
Sometimes as it goes on month after month, even year after year, we don't see anything changing. It's easy to get discouraged and think, it's never going to happen. This is as good as it gets. I'll just learn to live with it. We all go through disappointments. Setbacks, loss, pain is a part of life. It's easy to get discouraged, even bitter. Think, why is this happening to me? Sometimes we look at pieces in our lives that don't make sense. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Heartache, loss, disappointments, they don't leave us the same every painful time. Even though you don't like it,
I can't be replaced. Some of y'all acting like you acting like you indispensable. You acting like if something happened to you, they're gonna wait around for the next 2-3 years. Like your spot is just guaranteed. Talk to me. Why can't you be replaced? I got one. Give me one more. Why can't you? Maybe you don't even know why you can't be replaced. Do you know why you can't be replaced? Anybody? Don't let me call on you. Come on, talk to me. Why can't you be replaced? I got time. Coach, I asked him how much time I had before I came in. He told me what I had. We got a little bit more. I can sit here and wait the whole time if you want me to. But I need somebody to tell me why you can't be replaced. Oh, you good. You know already. I feel you, bro. You good. I need somebody else. We good.
You fought your whole life to get to this point just to let it slip away.
Sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. And I've got a few techniques that I teach in my seminar on how to get smarter. Keeping a journal, going to the lectures, going to the seminars, listening to the sermons, picking up ideas from other people. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. This is called the possibility for life change starts with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in picking up the ideas. Don't be lazy in learning from your own experience. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of life change. Some people want to start with motivation, but you don't start with motivation. Somebody says, just motivate this guy, he'll be all right. The answer is no, probably not.
it's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Eventually, that will pass, you will get through it, but you will be different. In those tough times when you're uncomfortable, going through a loss, dealing with an illness, you could easily let it overwhelm you. Now how the pain changes you is up to you. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, a new fire, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. I may not like it, but I'm not a whiner. I'm a warrior. I know I can handle this.
Did you hear what he just said? That's another player. That's why I'm saying it, because I don't play football. Say it one more time.
You fought your whole life to get to this moment just to let it slip away.
You know what's crazy, bro? I've been doing this for a long time. I used to think in my mind, like when I used to go and speak for teams, I used to think in my mind like, yo, y'all finally there, right? Like, yo, like bros in here like scrapping and people getting up early and people eating right, like, and people ain't on social media and people ain't smoking and people ain't drinking. Like, I was so stupid when I first started doing this. I thought everybody that came to the league was about that life. I just thought everybody was like getting up first thing in the morning, hitting the weights, eating right. I thought everybody came out like, let's go. And then I realized, yo, some dudes got here. This was their whole dream to get to the league, and they got to the league and they ain't got no more dream. You finally got to where you've been trying to get to your whole life, and you were sweeter in high school in terms of the grind. You worked harder in college than you do in the NFL. It blew my mind. You here.
If a guy's an idiot, you motivate him. Now you got a motivated idiot. So education, get smart. Don't miss the training class. You say, well, I've already been to one of those classes. I've already heard it. Got a good phrase for you to take home. That's no sign you got it. Just because you've listened to those millionaire tapes one time is no sign you've got it. I'm asking you to listen to them over and over and over. I'm asking you to dedicate yourself to a new level of learning. You know, study, learn, grow, change, develop. Never let it be said you didn't learn. Right? If you want to solve your problems, you got to learn. If you want to take advantage of an opportunity, you got to learn. Develop your own personal philosophy here. Philosophy, major determining factor in how your life works out. Each person's philosophy is like the set of the sail. The same wind blows on us all. The difference in where we arrive at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year is not the wind that blows.
Don't complain about the pain. Without the pain, we couldn't reach the fullness of our destinies. Sometimes we bring pain on ourselves. We make poor choices. Get in a relationship we know is not good, or maybe get over our head in our spending. Now it's painful. We're having to deal with the consequences. All of us experience pain. My challenge: don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character, to gain new confidence.
The other thing that you have to learn is when you hold on to your history, you do it at the expense of your destiny. When you consider you cannot give energy, but in so many directions, that you are a limited resource. And if you're gonna spend all that energy energizing where you've been, then you're not gonna have the fuel and the fire and the tenacity and the aggressiveness that you need to energize where you're going. Women are taught to think that it is powerful to hold people hostage with what they did wrong, that that's your power, that's how you get back. No, I didn't forget it, and I'm strong and I'm tough. But it takes more strength to forgive than it does to be vengeful and angry. And the worst part about it is, I really believe that forgiveness does not exonerate the perpetrator. It does not justify their behavior. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself because you let it go so that you are available to be your highest and best self. And because you are saying that it is not stronger than me, I disconnect from it as a sign that I am in control of it and it is not in control of me. It has been my philosophy. If I had held on to all the things that happened to me in my childhood and in my life, I wouldn't be standing here today. I had to realize that when you rehearse those visions and images, you empower them. You actually enshrine them. I decided to cast down the idols of my history and to embrace the possibilities of my destiny so that I was available when God's roll call was made. Are you present and available for what I want to do in your life right now? My hands are free. Here I am. Pick me. I'm ready to go.
Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I think for myself, and I know many of you, you think forgiving means accepting what has happened to you. Well, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay for it to happen. It is accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? Forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on, hoping, wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when I got that, I think it took me to the next level of being a better person, because I don't hold grudges for anything or any situation, and neither should you. It's letting go so that the past does not hold you prisoner, does not hold you hostage. This truth has been fundamental in allowing me to live my best life. It was transformative. You have to come to the realization that what might have been is not what is. Easy to hear, I know, and harder to do. That you can accept or reject the way you are treated by other people, but until you heal the wounds of your past, you will continue to bleed. You can bandage the bleeding with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with work, with cigarettes, with sex, she said, but eventually it's gonna ooze through and stain your life. You must find the strength to open up the wounds, stick your hands inside, pull out the core of the pain that is holding you in your past, the memories, and make peace with them. So here's the formula. Accept what has happened. Forgive others. Forgive yourself. Accept the now. That is the recipe to begin healing. And give up the hope that the past could have been anything other than what it actually was. Whatever happened, help to make you, you. I challenge you to think about and to ask yourself, where do you need forgiveness in your own life? What resentment are you holding on to that in turn is holding you back? My hope is that you find the courage to relinquish all your grudges, because what I do know for sure is that on the other side of forgiveness is the freedom to live the life for which you were intended and the one you actually deserve.
Forgiveness of yourself and of others will release you from the prison of the past. Thoughts of bitterness cannot create joy. No matter how justified you feel you are, no matter what they did, if you insist on holding on to the past, then you will never be free. Forgiveness is a tricky and confusing concept for many people. There is a difference between forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiving someone does not mean that you condone their behavior. It really has nothing to do with the other person. The reality of true forgiveness lies in setting ourselves free from holding on to the pain. When you do not flow freely with life in the present moment, it usually means you are holding on to a past moment. Only in the present moment can you create your future. If you are holding on to the past, you cannot be in the present. It is only in this now moment that your thoughts and words are powerful. So you really don't want to waste your current thoughts to continue to create your future from the garbage of the past. When you blame another, you give your own power away because you are placing the responsibility for your feelings on someone else. People in our lives may behave in ways that trigger uncomfortable responses in us. However, they did not get into our minds and create the buttons that have been pushed. Taking responsibility for our own feelings and reactions is mastering our ability to respond. In other words, we learn to consciously choose rather than simply react.
The person you were in the past is a different person than you are today. The person you are today wouldn't do those things because you now have wisdom, you have hindsight, you have intelligence, you understand consequences. So the person you are today is a different person from the person you were back then. So don't keep beating yourself up because that other person, another person, did something that today you disapprove of. All right? Just let yourself go. Let yourself off the hook. And when you let it all go, it's almost like a huge burden off your back. You just forgive everybody and you forgive everything, and on a go-forward basis, you just forgive everybody. You don't have any negativities at all. No negativity toward anybody. You're just a positive person. And if you'll do that, if you accept responsibility, like yourself, and forgive everyone else, you become a truly superior person. Most amazing darn thing.
The beginning of being anything is the dream. The beginning of being anything, it starts with a dream. One day, somebody had the dream of being able to fly like a bird. Well, today we have airplanes. Somebody had a dream of one day going into outer space. People go to the moon and they come back. People one day had dreams of being able to travel at high speeds. All types of things. It all starts with a dream. Martin Luther King had a dream that one day all of us could unite and come together. Well, it's happening. It hasn't fully happened, but it's happening. But it started with a dream. Those dreams are available to each and every one of us. So parents, if you have a child that says something that's beyond the realm of your thinking, don't make it not possible. So when your child says, I'm gonna be a star, and you don't really see the talent, they got something in them that you might not know about. They may have a dream and something burning inside of them that you don't know anything about. It all starts with a dream. The Bible says that a man without a dream or a vision shall perish. And that's so true. If you don't have nothing you're working for, nothing you're shooting for, you really have no focal point in life, and you wander around aimlessly all the time. So all of you out there, whatever your dream is, and dream big. My father used to tell me all the time, he says, son, aim for the moon, because if you miss, you'll still be amongst the stars. The bigger you dream, the wider you let your mind fly, the more capable you become of accomplishing the thing. See, you've got to understand that it doesn't matter your financial circumstance. It doesn't matter what environment you live in. If you can see yourself out of the project, if you can see yourself outside the ghetto wall, if you can see yourself anywhere, then guess what? See it. See it and believe it to be so. That is the beginning of all things happening. It is your dream and your vision. And let me give you some advice. Don't share all your dreams with everybody, because the moment you say something to somebody and they don't see it for you or themselves, they start telling you how it won't happen. Now you allow that into your mindset when all you was doing was wanting it to be so. And now guess what? Then comes the stumbling blocks, the hurdles, the pits in the road. And now you find yourself trying to understand what they were saying when all you really had to do was go on with your dream. So when I have dreams or ambitions, I only tell one person. I usually tell my wife. And after that, I don't really share it with a whole lot of people, because I know that everybody ain't pulling for me, but I know she is. So I share with her what I'm thinking about becoming and doing and hoping for us and our family. And that's who I tell it to. I don't tell it to my friends, my boys. I don't tell it to my manager. I don't tell it to nobody, because guess what? They got their own agendas too. Now they don't see it for you, because then that's going to get in the way of some plan they had for us and them. And now next thing you know, they working against that because they got another plan. So I don't really share it with people. I share it with my folk and I share it with my God. And that's it. But do dream. If you can't think of what to dream, stop at a magazine stand or a bookstore and flip through magazines and see stuff that you'd like to have. See places that you'd like to go. Imagine things that you'd like to be. Sit down and close your eyes and imagine where you would like to be, because that is the beginning. It is the dream. There's a whole series of things you got to do to become successful, but just today, I'm just going to stay on this one thing. Do not be afraid to dream. Do not be afraid to think that you can. And remember this, you ain't too old to have a dream. Anybody can dream. I don't care if you're 45, 55, 65. You can dream about something. It can still happen for you. And the younger you start dreaming, the better you get at dreaming. And when you get good at dreaming, then after a while, you're going to have to start making some of this stuff come true. And next thing you know, you're on your way. But it starts with a dream. So dream big, open up magazines, cut them cartoons and them sitcoms off, and quit watching soap operas all day. And do something that'll stimulate your mind. The Travel Channel, the Discovery Channel. Watch a cooking show. Just get into some other things, man. You never know what's inside you, and something may spark a flame that burns in you that you really didn't even know you had, but you got to open up your mind and let it fly. Dream on with your bad self, and don't let nobody tell you that you can't. And the best way to not have a person tell you you can't is to not tell them what you want in the first place. It's your dream. It really ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Wake up! Wake up from your dream and make your dream a reality. Wake up and understand the significance of the purpose that you have within yourself. Understand that if it's something that you are truly ultimately seeking in your life, then you got to go after it. There are a lot of people that are sitting around waiting for something to happen. Now, what you going to do about it? How are you going to go about doing the things that are necessary to get you where you need to be in your life? Everybody has a dream, but how much are you applying to that dream? How far are you pushing that dream? When are you going to realize that the dream is not going to work by itself? When are you going to realize that if you're not hungry enough, then you are not going to be able to satisfy the hunger that you have within yourself? So if you're a dreamer, sooner or later you're going to have to wake up from that dream. And while you're walking down that path, concerning yourself about things that you may not be able to control at that moment, focus on what you can control within yourself. Because there will come a time when while you're applying yourself and you're going after that dream, this reality kicks in. Bam! And you get knocked down. And you get down and you're looking at the ground. The ground is not going to apologize to you. The people around you is not going to apologize to you. You got to have the ability to rise up and push yourself and believe in yourself and make that dream a reality. Show yourself, believe in yourself. Show yourself that there's something unique about you and you can do more than what you think you can do. But the dreams don't happen overnight. The goals don't happen overnight. There's a lot of work to be done. And if you're not willing to work for it, then it ain't gonna work for you in the first place. Patience is one of the things you have to remember about life. And it takes time. And you got to plant that seed. And you got to nourish it. You got to water it. You got to do all the things that are necessary. But if you don't do it right, if you don't take care of it, it won't take care of you. Don't put all the energy into things that won't help you to grow. Focus on the things that's gonna make you better so you can grow. And regardless of the circumstances, regardless of how hard it is, it's not going to be easy, and you shouldn't want it to be easy. Everybody gets something handed to them. Everybody looking for something easy. Everybody looking for a pass. There are no passes when it comes to you and you being unique and having the ability and the qualifications to make sure you get the most out of your life and out of your dream. Be passionate about it, people. I'm telling you right now. Because the world we're living in today, everybody's looking for an opportunity to do nothing. Don't wait for an opportunity to do nothing. Take the opportunity and do something with it, because it is your life. Now, if you're going after it, go out there the right way. Go out there with a full heart. And don't be afraid of it.
All of our actions echo into eternity. Long after we're gone, our lives also have an echo. Listen to me. Your life matters. What you do in your life matters. You were born to do something great with your life. You were put here for a reason, which is to make a difference in the world, which is to change your own family's tree, which is to do something great with your life. I promise you, you were put here for that, in little ways and in big ways. And there will be an echo for your life. The actions of your life will echo into eternity. The question is, will that echo for you be a whisper into eternity or a roar? And you get to decide based on the actions you take every day in your life, whether the life of you, whether it had a big meaning and it roars into eternity, or whether you play small and you just whisper into eternity. Welcome back to Max Out, everybody. I'm Ed Milet. Today we're going to talk about the echo of life, or the echoes in life. And what I mean by that is, you know that when you hear an echo, you've said something, but there's a delayed response until you hear it coming back at you, and then you experience the result. And that's how life works. See, today, one of the reasons so many people are confused about their lack of success is because we live in a very immediate gratification type society, meaning people expect results to happen instantaneously because we can get access to information instantaneously. We can get on social media, we can get music, we can get a movie, we can get a Google search, we can get a book, we can get anything we want instantaneously. But what you can't get instantaneously is success in life. And we've been raised in a generation now, many of us, even older guys like me, we're programmed to get things right now. And this hurts us in life because we don't realize the echoes of life. See, for me, for example, when I'm having a difficult time in my life in one area or another, all I have to really do is look back 60 to 90 days, and it's the behaviors I had 60 to 90 days ago that are causing the results I get negatively right now. And so, for example, when I'm not really, progressing in my career or in my financial situation, if I look back 60 to 90 days prior, I stopped reading the books, listening to the audios, doing the things that grow my identity, and I pay the price 60 to 90 days later. In my body isn't looking like I want it to. If I look back 60 to 90, 120 days, that's when my diet got weaker. That's when my workouts weren't quite as intense as they were previously, and I pay the price 3 to 4 months later. This is true in every area of our life. Our lives are almost like reading a newspaper today, but we're reading the headlines from 90 days ago. And so that's what confuses people. They see the external results of their life, but if you read the newspaper from 90 to 120 days ago, that's where the news was made, not today. And so in every area of your life, you got it going right now. You got to fuel the fire. If you've got your business going, your finances going, your relationship going, your faith going where you want it to, you have to continue to do the activities that got you here in the first place, because 90 days from now, you're going to read today's news. That's how it works. If today's news is you stop telling the person you're with you're loving them, if you stop dating them like you did in the beginning, you stop treating them a particular way, you're going to pay the price for it in 90 to 120 days. If you're not eating the way you want to, when you eat a piece of cake, you don't see the fat deposit the next day. There's a delay. And so what happens is we do these negative behaviors, and because we don't see an instant pain or an instant consequence for it, we don't think the consequence is coming, but the consequences always come. There's a delayed consequence for everything we do. And so today, you're getting the external results of 90 days ago's headlines of what you were doing. And the mistake most people make is they get things going in their life, they get their business going, and they stop the very things that got them there because they believe today is the headlines. But you're going to read it in 90 to 120 days. You're going to pay the price.
One of the things I tell young men, well, and young women as well, but the young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. Because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
Being aggressive. that means you are ready to attack. As I always point out, this doesn't mean you walk around with your chest puffed out, ready to bang heads with everyone around you. It doesn't mean you confront people physically or mentally head on without a tactically superior plan. No. What it does mean is that you are going to get after it. You are going to move fast. You are going to think fast. You are going to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. If I think the enemy is going to attack me, I'm going to attack them first. If I think they are going to seize a piece of terrain, I am going to be there waiting for them. If I think the enemy is going to flank me, too late, I'm already flanking them. I view aggression as a fire in your mind that says, I am going to win. I am going to battle, and I am going to fight, and I am going to use every tool I have to crush my enemy. And that is what aggression is to me, the unstoppable fighting spirit, the drive, the burning desire to achieve mission success using every possible tool, asset, and strategy and tactic to bring about victory. It is the will to win. And if that kind of internal, relentless aggression is your default mode, you'll win.
You think that your competitors are better than you? There's somebody who's going to take your position. Turn up your game. Step up to the next level. Take practice more serious. Put more hours in. Put more time in. Challenge yourself to reach another level. Challenge yourself to beat your competitors. Challenge yourself to be a star. Challenge yourself to win the championship. Your haters want you to fail. Write down. Make the decision that you won't give up. Make the decision that you won't give in. Why? It pushes me to another level. Pushes me to doing things that I didn't know I could do. It pushes me to be great. Greatness is not only talked about. It's about the work that you put in.
So let's say you start at $5 an hour. Here's what everybody has the opportunity to climb the ladder. Now first, all you need is what? A chance. That's all everybody needs is a chance. And a start, and now education. As to how to take advantage of your chance, how to get started, and use your education to move up this ladder, speaking financially. Now there's a lot of ways to grow, but speaking financially, this is the deal. So you start at $5 an hour. Now the first key is, how do you increase the $5? And there's several philosophies to increasing the $5. Here's number one. Wait for them to raise the minimum wage. Right? Wouldn't that be one philosophy? Now the last time it took how many years? Several years to raise the minimum wage, which is okay. I'm not saying it isn't okay. It's one way to get an increase in income is to wait for the minimum wage. Okay, here's the next philosophy. To wait for a raise, which is certainly legitimate. Now the question is, how often do the raises come? Every 6 months maybe? 1 year? They do what? A review? What if you miss the review? Well, you got to wait another 6 months or maybe a year. So that might take quite a while to go from 5, let's say, to 6. Here's another philosophy. Go on strike. Here's the philosophy we call by demand, to demand more. And if you don't give me more, I'll go on strike. I won't work. Which is one philosophy. To get more by demand. Now here's the problem with demand. Make the note. You can't get rich by demand. You might get a few more pennies. You might get an extra dollar. You might get an extra benefit or something, but you can't get rich by demand. Here's why. Not that it isn't America, and not that it isn't that economically now we're doing incredibly well. But here's why you can't get rich by demand. It's the wrong philosophy. And here's what would be tragic all your working life. To live in the right country and have the wrong philosophy. So you can't get rich by demand. Then how could you get rich in America? It's very simple. Change your philosophy. And what would be the new philosophy? Answer. You get rich by performance, not by demand. Now, my mentor says, some people don't just make $5 an hour. We've moved up to 6. How easy would it be to get to 6? Probably pretty easy. If you worked for McDonald's, they paid you $5 an hour, hauling out the trash. If you whistle while you haul out the trash, they'll pay you $6 an hour. Right? Here's an unusual person. They deserve $6 just because of their attitude. Wear the hat, say yay McDonald's. So for that, you get an extra $1 an hour because the company recognizes, hey, looks like this is going to be an oncoming person. So it's not that difficult to go from 5 to 6. But here's what's interesting. Some earn $50 an hour, 10 times as much. How could you multiply your income by 10? One, you probably couldn't do it waiting for a raise. Certainly you couldn't do it waiting for them to change the minimum wage. And you certainly couldn't do it by demand. Because usually when they make demands, they don't demand that you multiply my income by 10. People don't go on strike for multiplying their income by 10, usually, right? It's just a little increase. So, how could you go from 5 to 10? Interesting. But that's not the end of it. Can you think of somebody that makes $500 an hour? My Beverly Hills attorney, yes. You can think of some, right? Make $500 an hour. Now, 500 multiplies by 10 again. Not just once, from $5 to 50, but from 50 to 500 is multiplying by 10 again. Can you multiply by 10 and then multiply by 10? And the answer is yes. One, living in the right country is an advantage. But here's the greatest advantage, having the right philosophy. Now, $500 an hour is not the end of the story. Would a company pay someone $26 million for 1 year's work? And the answer is yes. They do it all the time, right? Not because this guy went on strike. It's not how he gets the $26 million. A change and a shift in philosophy here starts to change everything. Now, my mentor said, you can climb this ladder, Mr. Rohn, as high as you wish to climb it. We're just talking economics now. There's a lot of other values to go for, but speaking economically, you can climb this ladder as high as you wish to climb it if you'll follow this philosophy. Here's what he said. You that have been around for a while have heard me say it. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I got the message, age 25. Then he added, if you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is noble. If you work hard on yourself, you could make a fortune, which is exciting. I had never heard that kind of philosophy. Working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on your job, make a living, which is fine. Work hard on yourself, make a fortune, which is super fun. Or working hard on yourself starts to multiply your value to the market. So we're talking about bringing value and being value to the marketplace. This is the key. We don't get paid for the time, we get paid for the value. Then he put it in the form of a philosophy that I've been teaching now all these years, which is so important. And now let me give you that philosophy. He said, success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue, chase, run after. Success is something you develop, something you become, to attract success. Here's the theme of leadership. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. To attract skillful people, you must be skillful. To attract committed people, you must be. So the whole key to unlock all the treasures, whether it's economic treasures or spiritual treasures, financial, social, personal, every way you can possibly think of, is by your own personal development.
Attack a stroke. Many people will say, well, because they smoke cigarettes, or because of high cholesterol, or because of stress, or because of obesity, and all of those things are contributing factors. But ladies and gentlemen, more heart attacks take place in this country on Monday morning between 8 and 9 a.m. That's when the majority of people who have their first heart attacks have them. 85% of the American public, according to recent studies, are going to jobs that they hate working on jobs that do not challenge them. They get sick thinking about going. Migraine headaches. After the Sunday afternoon football game, or 60 minutes, the anxiety began to build. And come Monday morning, they drop dead of a broken heart. Some of you ought to think about not going to work on Monday. Think about that. People are literally dying to go to work. Because, see, when you go to a job and you already know how far you can go, you can already see that proverbial glass ceiling. It's like going to a movie when you've gone in the middle of the movie and you've seen the end and you sit there to start all over again, but something is missing. You know what the outcome is going to be. You can't get excited about going through that movie all over again. Am I correct? See, when you're going someplace and you already know how much you're going to make, you already know how far you can go, you're in a dead-end position. It erodes your self-esteem. It lowers your sense of yourself. It creates an inner turmoil. It creates an emptiness in you. So I say that your life is worth finding what it is that you're supposed to do.